Okay, we got Georgia Tech visiting North Carolina, an ACC game. Georgia Tech is a 9-point underdog. VR is going to give us his best bet on this one.
9 ain't even close to enough to back the Georgia Tech side. I love North Carolina in this spot, and I know our good friend Marco from pregame. North Carolina came through for him 2 weeks ago. That was his game of the year when
easy, a 2-point conversion.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I wouldn't go that far. No, but it was beautiful. And I think getting that kind of win and having a week off is huge because of the fact it was an in-state rivalry, and NC State was a ranked team. So for North Carolina, that was a big win. And the win that way, you're kind of going to celebrate it. And if they had to play that next Saturday, I don't know if I'd be willing to back them laying this many points. But because they had a week to get over it, I like them in this spot. When you look at the series, I think that's why we're getting value, because I made my line North Carolina minus 13 for this game. And when you look at the series, Georgia Tech's won 6 of the last 7. But if you look a little closer, they were favored in 5 of them. So this was when a Georgia Tech team was much better than North Carolina. And although you look at that Georgia Tech offense and they rushed for 318 yards, 5.9 per attempt, North Carolina not only knows that offense, but they had 2 weeks to prepare for it. And we've seen when teams have time to prepare for Air Force, Navy, Georgia Tech, they do much better. And I think that's a huge advantage for North Carolina in this spot. I think offensively, they're going to pose a lot of problems for Georgia Tech because they're as balanced as they come. Here's a team that puts up almost 500 yards of offense, 200 plus running, almost 300 passing. So pick your poison, brother. Yeah, I like North Carolina in this spot. This has 14, 17-point win all over it. Once Georgia Tech falls behind, I don't think they could catch up with that offense.
I think Carolina, a good, strong, physical team, too. And then the extra week, I think, really does benefit them, and the extra week to prepare. Chuck Edel.
We talked about it. I'm with them on North Carolina here. Yeah. You mentioned, I think that Bernard is one of the best running backs in the country.
Absolutely.
They could throw the ball. And, you talk about Georgia Tech winning some of those games. This is Georgia Tech's worst team that we've seen in a long time. Yes. Last week, don't get fooled, they beat Maryland.
Exactly.
Maryland used a linebacker. That's their 5th quarterback of the year they've used. The guy was playing linebacker.
And before that, the last win they had was against Boston College.
Yeah, and BYU. How about BYU?
Killed them. Clemson killed them. Middle Tennessee State killed them.
BYU game was embarrassing. It was BYU. We know their offense hasn't done much. They outgained them in that game, 411 and 157. Now Georgia Tech's using 2 quarterbacks. Nobody really do anything. I like this is North Carolina's best offense that we've seen here for quite some time.
They turned the game around the second half against Louisville, if you remember. This was 6 weeks ago. Almost came back. They were down big. Since then, they've been playing some very, very good ball. I think you got 2 teams going in 2 different directions.
I agree.
And their weakness is sometimes is against the pass, their defense. Well, we know Georgia Tech's not throwing the ball.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, we have talked about it. Let's go ahead and make it official.
ACC matchup, Georgia Tech versus North Carolina. Not going to go as far as calling it revenge spot for North Carolina because Georgia Tech has owned this series. But North Carolina, extra time to prepare for this quirky offense. More importantly, had an extra week to get over that beautiful win for Marco in overtime against in-state rival. And finally, as good as Georgia Tech is running the ball, that's how good North Carolina is in stopping the run. They only allow 111 yards rushing per game, 3.0 yards per carry. In college football, that's phenomenal. North Carolina minus 9 all day long. And I know there's no value in teasing college. You know that better than anyone. I've seen you tweet that plenty of times, and coming from a bookmaker, I'll take that as law. But there's some cases where it's not bad to pull out a different weapon. And I think North Carolina at home, down below that key number, I don't think it makes it a bad bet.
Listen, I know you looked at this game to maybe put as one of your best bets, and I did the same thing.
Oh, yeah, all 3 of us stamping it.
I'm not going to tease it. I'm going to play it, and I don't think
Is this a video game of the month?
I don't think we need a Marco miracle in this one. Okay, coming up next, we're going to hear from Chuck Edel. He's going to be playing the Fresno State-Nevada game. He's going to give us a total on that one. I might be at that game.
Nevada.
And just a reminder, you can see all our videos at pregame.tv.